I will request Ashwini to conduct a poll where I would want each one of you to participate. The poll is to check whether if we declare the toppers or the top 3 of the PD cell trainings of the previous year, or going forward we do that, will it motivate or kind of demotivate? So be very honest when you answer that. We are not going to be collecting your names and going back to it. I think by now we should have the intellectual honesty, to express our opinion. You must understand that it's very important for us to get this kind of feedback, which is not sort of contrived. So just say yes or no, whether it's going to motivate you or demotivate you. Ashwini, you can launch the poll.
Yeah, I have launched it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead and...
without taking your much time, teachers, I've launched a poll. You vote it.
All right. If the girls are ready to go, Kakuli, we will not waste time. Just go ahead and all the best to the team.
Just a second, sir.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah. I'll just want
So you're
to...
sharing the poll results.
No, I'm not sharing the poll result, but I would like to share one information with the teachers that we have completed 9,959 total hours of learning this year. And I would like to congratulate each and every member of our DPS family for completing 1 year PD cell. Thank you so much. Yeah, sir.
Congratulations to you, Ashwini, for leading it and, jailoing all our issues.
No, sir. No, sir.
You are a very cooperative girl, Ashwini. Thank you so much for being there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can start now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ashwini ma'am, and thank you, sir. Jai Hind and good evening to all. I, Kakuli Mukherjee, welcome you all to yet another exciting CC Friday. Rightly said by John Dewey, educator and philosopher, he said, "We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experiences." So every day we struggle, no doubt about it, right? But we learn to look for the little things and victories that not only help us enjoy every day, but also make us love teaching as much as we do. If we look for the little things, the not so good things don't seem so bad. Here, where the self-reflection and self-assessments work. Reflections have been an integral part of our teaching and learning nowadays, as we have understood the importance of self-reflection. So, here today we will be talking about SLC PTM, which is the student's reflection on his or her progress in front of their parents as well as in front of their teachers. Now let me rest my voice and invite my colleagues, Ms. Aditi, Ms. Nili, and Ms. Shrishma to throw light on what, why, and how of SLC PTM of DPS Pharmacy. Hope you all will like our effort. Over to Aditi ma'am now.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A child's life is like a piece of paper on which every person leaves a mark. With this quote, I would like to introduce what is SLC. Sushma ma'am, please, next slide. But before I introduce what is SLC, I just want to show you this picture. These are 2 pictures on my screen, and I ask a little question from you. Which picture shows the better way of PTM and why? I want your opinions on the Padlet link, which I'm sharing it in the chat box. Teachers, please give your response. Out of these 2 pictures, which picture shows the better way of PTM according to you and why? Sushma ma'am, if you can please present the Padlet link so that I can see the answers. Thank you. Teachers, you will only get 2 minutes to answer. Second one, as it is a child-centric. Thank you. Okay, I want a reason for it. Okay, second method is better because the student is in control. All right. Second one, because the student looks involved. All right, thank you. student is expressing in the second one. Okay. Thank you so much for your feedbacks. I've got it. Sushma ma'am, can you please come back to the slide? Thank you, teachers. Thank you so much. I got it. Everybody agrees with the second picture. Thank you so much. The second picture shows the better way of PTM, as we all know that engaging students in an educational process is an integral piece of student leadership and development. And to engage our little dipsides in this process, we have introduced student-led conference. The word student-led itself defines that is conducted by the students and the teacher only listens and acts as a supporter. The children showcase their work and develop deeper learning competencies to be successful in their work and life. They get opportunity to initiate and develop their educational goal through this platform. It also provides opportunities to portray their own work and reflect their own learning by explaining their strengths, goals, and areas of improvement. Now, you will be asking why SLC PTM. So I would like to invite Millie ma'am to move further. Thank you. Millie ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Aditi ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. Let me brief you why student-led conference PTM is important. Deeper learning is essential for future generations to be successful in work and life. Children should take the initiative to guide their own learning and monitor their goals. The best way to do this is through student-led PTM. Children are able to think and reflect on what they are achieving, what they are struggling with, and what they need to succeed. Placing the onus of learning on the student to explain his or her progress helps to develop the responsibility and accountability necessary for the student to improve. When goals are created by the child himself or herself, he or she takes a personal interest in achieving and monitoring goals. Student-led PTM also boosts confidence and leadership skills. Even a struggling student who is not so good in academics is able to find something he is proud of to show and is also able to view his learning progress. Let me give you one example. A girl in my class who is not so good in academics said that she has passed the first year of Kathak dance and has given her performance on the stage, but she needs some practice in reading and writing. So student-led PTM helped her to know her strength and the area where she needs to focus. Let us now discuss how student-led PTM was conducted. Now I invite Sushma ma'am to continue.
Thank you, Millie ma'am. Jai Hind, everyone present over here. Now I'm going to explain the implementation process of SLC. The first step in making the transition to student-led conference is preparing everyone involved in the process. First, the concept of SLC was introduced among colleagues through analyzing the given videos and brainstorming sessions for creating a classroom environment necessary for SLC. For SLC to work, it's essential that teachers be clear with the student about what it takes to succeed. Now, in the second step, we communicated the concept of SLC to our student. So in round 1, for classes 1 and 2, a worksheet was made with the different academic and behavioral goals. As you can see on my screen, this is the worksheet containing the behavioral and skills, and this is the second worksheet containing the academic goals for classes 1 and 2. It was personally explained to the child and goals were selected. Children were then given the practice of conducting SLC PTM and the result was great. Now in the second round, a Google form containing 4 questions for classes 1 and 2 was sent to the student and they have to fill the form. The child was first discussing the goals set by himself, herself, and then the academic goals which he or she achieved. They also discuss the area where they need improvements or the teacher's assistance. Now let's see some glimpses of SLC PTM for class 1 and 2.
Okay.
This call is now being recorded.
Yes, Adam.
I, Arman Singh, will discuss about my behavior skills and academics, which I am good at and which I have to work on. I keep on trying when something is difficult. I can wait patiently for my turn.
And I do agree with this. And which two things do you think you need to work on?
Keeping toys and other things in the proper place after playing, and treating others the way I want to be treated.
Okay, so you need to work.
Okay, so this is how it was conducted for classes 1 and 2. Now let's come for classes nursery and prep. So in nursery prep, visual prompts were shown to them to reflect their learning. Let's see the video from nursery prep.
So are you ready, Myra? Yes? Okay, so introduce yourself.
Hello, ma'am. I am Myra for nursery A, DPS Varasi. My hobbies are singing, playing, dancing, reading books.
Wonderful. Anything else? Myra? Good. Good hobbies you have. Okay, so we will move towards English. So, Myra, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, do you know the sounds or sound, action, and rhyme for all the alphabets?
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful. So, come on, quickly tell me the rhyme of letter I and
I?
action also. I. Yes. Come on. Yes. Wonderful. And rhyme? Rhyme? Inky?
Inky the mouse is my friend.
Very
He
good.
spelled drunk and got wet. The Inky spell all of the dust. Ink is wet.
Wonderful. And letter
Okay. After the conduction of SLC PTM in prep and nursery, an activity was given to the child to rate herself or himself. So as you can see on my screen, ma'am has given like 10 stars and she has to rate herself. And Myra has rated herself as 7 stars. She has given herself 7 out of 10 and that was great as an example of self-reflection. So that was awesome. Now let's talk about classes 3 to 5. Just give me a second. Let me change my slide. Okay, now let's talk about classes 3 to 5. For classes 3 to 5, introduction slides and portfolio formats were given to the students and also thrown through smart boards. As you can see on my screen, the slides are there. In the first paragraph, welcome note to parents. And in the second paragraph, what I'm learning in the class, the 2 things that I enjoy the most, and the projects that I have done till now. Okay. And in the third paragraph, like how I'm performing and how I'm staying organized. And in the fourth paragraph, they have to talk about their strength, their areas in which they can grow more, a goal which they have set for themselves for the rest of the year, an explanation that how they're going to improve their self, how to grow. So this is all about. And in paragraph 5, the conclusion in the form of reflection and thank you note to the parent. After that, small write-up formats were also shared with them through Smartboard and was given in the GC also.
नालायक चालू मत कर बदतमीज
Sorry. Okay. So some
That is a disturbance.
yes sir, yes sir. So a sample portfolio was given to them and it was shown through a smartboard also. It was given in GC also, as you can see. These are the sample write-ups which was given to them, like what I'm learning in the class, how I performed and staying organized, my goal for the rest of the year, and then thank you note. Now let's see some glimpses of SLC PTM for classes 3 to 5. Before just opening this video, I just want to give you information that Karthik is an RTE child, but still he was performing SLC so beautifully. So let's watch it.
What I am learning in the class. 2 things I enjoyed learning was making interesting program in computer and division in maths because I learned new things and have fun in doing programming and learning division. How I am performing and staying organized. I keep myself organized by following scheduled timetable and keep learn new things over mobile and class.
Now let's see one example from offline PTA.
Yes, start.
My name is Anisha Pandey. I am from class 15. My roll number is 10. I am from the city of Varanasi. I am an enthusiast and a keen learner. I am always ready to teach and help everyone. Swimming and badminton and reading subjects of my interest like EVS and maths. My academic goals are to improve my Hindi and English spellings and learn more about methods of farming in EVS.
Yes, start.
Now let's talk about for classes 6 to 8. So for classes 6 to 8, a student were given to write an essay reflecting on their work. And as you can see on my screen, these are the parameters on which they are writing the essay. Like in para 1, they are just writing the welcoming note for their parents. And then in para 2, they are explaining that what they are learning, what they enjoyed in the class most, and what are the reason behind that. Then they are going to mention the project names and the detailing about that, like PBL, SLC, the life skill activities, the SDGs that they did. And in paragraph 3, they are like explaining that how they're performing and staying organized. Their feelings about overall effort till now, their feelings about their grades. And in para number 4, they're going to talk about their strength, the areas in which they want to grow more, and the goal which they set for themselves for the rest of the year. And in the last paragraph, they are going to write the conclusion in the form of reflection and then the thank you note for the parents. Now let's see some glimpses for class 6 to 8, the examples of SLC PTM, the evidences.
Good morning and Jayant, my respected parents and our respected class teacher. I am Sudhanshu Kumar, ward of Mr. Shiv Kumar. In today's essay writing, I will be covering few points which we were asked to tell about them. They are as follows. So two things I enjoyed the most and reasons behind them are math waste, or you can see uses of waste, in which I made a water dispenser, a toffee bank, and a decorative I made a decorative glass container. As you can see, these are my PBL evidences. I made a water dispenser, and this is PBL 2 evidences, in which you have to write our answers. In which good morning.
Good afternoon and gentlemen to my parents. I am Swasti Singh from class 8C, as you all know. So today I am going to talk about what I have learned in my online and offline classes, such as what things I enjoyed the most in my classes and why, or what I have learned from my projects. Or I will also talk about how I think I am performing well in classes and whether I am making any efforts to increase my grades or I am losing it already. And am I
Okay, so as we know very well that behind every child who believes in himself is a parent who believed the first. As we are doing this SLC PTM first time in our school, so parent feedback is very important for us because they are playing a great role in SLC PTM. So let's see that.
Namaste and hello everyone. I am Dr. Sudhakar Singh, father of Aradhya Singh, who is studying in class 1E. I think currently the ongoing process of student-led conference is very important for the overall growth of students because it let them decide their own goals with the help of teachers and parents. Uh, it helps in building their confidence to present things or any topic.
और मैम आप जान रहे हैं कि पूरा वर्ल्ड जिस फाइनलिटी में गुजर रहा था उस दौरान ही डीपी विश्वविद्यालय कहीं भी यह कमी महसूस नहीं होने दिया कि मेरा विद्यालय नहीं। और मैं आपको बता दूँ इस पर हम लोग अपने टीचर्स पर बहुत प्राउड करते हैं कि घर पर रख कर भी बच्चों को जो हमारे प्रोजेक्ट टीचर्स ने हमारे कॉपरेट के हर बच्चों के साथ जब पूरी दुनिया में शिक्षा का माहौल गड़बड़ हो चुका था, हम शिक्षा से बिल्कुल बेदखल हो चुके थे, तो दशा में हमारे जो विजय थे विद्यालय थे इतना कॉपरेट किया लोगों ने और बच्चों में कोई कमी नहीं दिया। ये बहुत बड़ी हम लोग।
So this is how we conducted SLC in our school. Now let's talk about challenges, and I really invite Millie ma'am for that. Millie ma'am, just give me a minute to change the slide. Just give me a minute.
Namaste and hello everyone.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Sushma ma'am. Every work has some or other challenges. So is with student-led conference PTM. I'm sharing the challenges we faced during student-led conference PTM. When no visual prompts were given, our tiny thoughts were lost. They were not able to reflect and talk. Sometimes parents prompted answers. The result was that the child was not able to think on his own and was rather dependent on ready-made answers. Few children were not willing to prepare portfolios. They were least bothered as they believed that doing work that does not involve marking is useless. RTE children got less support from parents. Their parents did not show interest in student-led PTM. They faced difficulty as they did not have evidence. Few parents did not turn up in the allotted time slot. After giving reminders also, they were careless. Sometimes parents were more interested in knowing the teacher's viewpoint about their child's progress and were least bothered to listen to their kid. Next slide, ma'am. The challenges of change are always hard. It is important that we unpack those challenges and find new ways to overcome them. Let me now brief you on how did we overcome those challenges. To overcome these challenges, the purpose and the objective of the student-led conference PTM was explained to parents repeatedly. They were requested not to prompt answers and children were encouraged to give their reflection with language as no bar. RTE children were helped by the teacher and pieces of evidence were provided to them. Students were encouraged to reflect on their learnings and teacher also helped them by putting up questions. Now let us know what our learnings are and the way forward from Aditi ma'am. Now I invite Aditi ma'am to continue.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let me talk about learnings and the way forward. Firstly, I'll be talking about the learnings. Development of growth mindset of all the three pillars of learning, that is student, parent, and teacher. For students to be invested in their own learning and develop a growth mindset, they need to be involved in conversations about their strength, goal, and areas of improvement. Boost students' confidence and engagement. Even the struggling students can find something they are proud of to show, and it gives every child a view of learning progress. Meeting happens in a low-stress environment. Yes, SLC leads to better relationship with parent, teacher, and student since meetings can be more casual and they do not have to talk about specific problems. Meetings focused on individual students during the presentation. As every child gets the opportunity to present, individual attention is definitely there. The student portfolio is a central element of a successful student-led conference. It varies based on the format of the conference. Ample time was given for a single child for his presentation and to share his experience and learning throughout the semester. Now, I'll talk about the way forward. Can be more organized? Let me share you with one incident of my class. I allotted 10 minutes for the portfolio presentation to one of my students, but he took 25 minutes. I could not stop him as he was so excited and was presenting the portfolio with great enthusiasm to his class teacher and parent. This gave me an insight about time management, and hence I got an idea that I should hold a rehearsal session prior to the SLC to understand the time and accordingly allot to the child. connection with the anecdotal record for the student. It can be said as another name of an anecdotal record that informs teachers as they plan learning experiences, provide information to parents, and gives insight into identifying possible development delays. The work compiled by the student is beneficial and helpful for the next grade teachers as it gives a clear view of their performance in the previous academic year. With the help of this, the teacher can focus on the areas of improvement of the child. That's all we have in our presentation today. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. We'd love to address any of your queries, if at all. This is our mail ID. In case you have any queries, you can mail us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, the girls led by Kakuli. It was an interesting session. I could see a lot of faces connecting to a lot of challenges, when you were presenting them. I think a lot of people across schools resonated with that, especially with the primary wing. The challenges are slightly more than perhaps in the other wings. So yes, as Aditi concluded, if you have any specific questions on SLC, its conduct, challenges, impact, just go ahead and shoot them. I think I'm going to request Ashwini, to give credits to those people who ask questions during the CCF. Otherwise, it's a very silent, and the silence is very eerie at the other end. As we say in class as teachers, it's either all clear or all clear. So we don't know what it is here in this case. At least चेहरे दिखेंगे offline में तो we can understand. But यहाँ तो कोई कैमरा बंद भी है, कोई कैमरा है भी नहीं. So Ashwini, please keep this in mind. अगले बार जो भी अच्छा सा सवाल पूछे या कोई भी सवाल पूछे, simply for the sake of asking, then we will give them one extra credit, maybe, or half a credit, that we can decide. But I think this is something that we should do to motivate questions. We are all looking at creating a learning environment or a culture for learning in our classroom, in our schools. And one way to do it is creating a questioning classroom. Agar hum khud questions nahi पूछेंगे, how do you think you will, create that, encourage that in your children? बच्चों को खूब सवाल पूछते हैं, but हम जब अपने मिलते हैं, why don't we ask questions? It's easier to ask questions to the children. लेकिन हम भी थोड़ा सवाल पूछने की कोशिश करें. Okay, we have one question. Did you notice, hang on, just a minute, sorry. Yeah, did you notice any changes in any one of your children after the SLC? Any peculiar case you could talk about? Well, at least not, nothing has come to my mind, but yes, one of the girls or anybody who is a part of the SLC from Varanasi, if you wish to unmute and just answer that question. It's an interesting question. One definite credit goes to this question.
Aditi, would you like to take?
Yes, ma'am. There was not peculiar case, but I can say the RT students, those who were like, we cannot imagine, they do not attend the classes. But when we were talking about presentation and all sort of things, they collected the evidence and at the same time, they presented it better than the students who are, who are blessed with everything. So that was the best thing which we received from the RT students. That was the best thing I noticed. And I really appreciate those children.
I think as a head, what I have noticed, when I see some of the recordings of the SLC, and because some of the children who are there in the recordings, I know as such, because I have met them sometimes, I've realized that their confidence has grown tremendously. That's something that positive change or impact, as I would say, is there due to the SLC. Yes, Vibhuti?
Good evening, sir. And if you would allow me to answer to what Siddharth sir has asked, a peculiar case, I won't say whether it is peculiar or not, but there are some students, sir, that who do not wish to bring along with them whatever they have written or their evidences. And when they came for the SLC and they realize their friends showing off their the, the work, even those students realize that it is they should be taking more they should be a little more attentive towards it, and probably collect their evidences more efficiently. So I think yes, it made them a little more responsible.
Vibhuti, a question to you now on this. You noticed this when it was what, online or offline?
It was offline, sir, when they
Okay.
we had it offline first.
Got it, got it, got it.
That.
Yeah. There is Varsha's question. How did you motivate parents to be a part of it, as majority of them are not willing to join? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, we motivated them by giving frequent calls and also showing them the portfolios which other students have presented. And definitely that boosts the energy level of a child. And if one child is doing that, the other immediately motivates or get that motivation to portray. And the child is responsible for motivating the parents. That's what we feel.
I agree with you.
And so we have given option also to the parents, because few parents did not wanted to turn up physically. So we have given online option also. So we did like that.
Ashwini's credit system is already working. Ashwini, I have my silent Ajay asking a question. Can it be counted upon as a turning point in the school life of a student? Well, I think this only the teachers will be able to answer. I'm not equipped to do that.
Yes, definitely, sir. Because when the child will grow, he or she has to do the presentations and all sort of things. So from the beginning, we are hand-holding the child. So I think that will be the best thing a child will learn from the school.
Well,
and one more thing I want to add here, sorry sir to interrupt you. Actually, when the child is doing the SLC in front of his parent or her parent, he's taking the ownership of his own learning and reflecting everything, so that boosts the confidence. So that is something very important and good for them. So this is the one thing that we have to note.
Kalpana, before I ask you to ask your question, there is Simranjeet Kaur's question. This is particularly to the primary wing teachers and coordinator Roli, if you could take it. Did you include nursery children in the student-led PTM? Yes, we did. We showed a little bit of evidence there also, where, there were little prompts, and Seema Balani, I think, was taking that session. So would you like to answer a little more? Anybody in the primary wing?
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to
Go ahead.
answer.
Go ahead, Millie.
Well, actually, we used visual prompts for them. They were not able to express themselves, so we used slides as a visual prompts, and then we asked them first in round one. We asked them questions, then they were reflecting. They were giving answers, and then in second round, what we did again, we used visual prompts, and then we were giving them questions, and they were giving their reflections.
Requesting Ravi Upadhyay to mute his mic, please. Millie, carry on.
So that's all that we gave them visual prompts.
Right.
Then only they were able to express themselves.
Yep. Thank you, Millie. We could now get Kalpana, who had raised her hand, to take up her question.
It was not a question, it was an answer in the continuation of the answer replied by Aditi ma'am. That, yeah, of course, SLPTM was the turning point in student life. Like, if we imagine of our student life, we would have never imagined a PTM conducted where we are speaking about our achievements, our experiences, our learnings. So it was a wonderful platform where we came to know about those students also who are considered as a silent listener, or you can say a backbencher of the class, coming up with a wonderful presentation and achievements they have received, or you can say have experienced in their life. So indeed, it is a turning point in the student's life.
I agree, Kalpana. हमारे ज़माने में तो शायद वो उम्र में हमारी आवाज़ भी नहीं निकलती थी. Okay, Rekha has a question. Rekha, would you like to unmute and ask the question? We'd like to see your face and hear your voice better.
Yes, sir. My question was, children tend to show only their good picture in front of parents. So if it is a problematic child, if the teacher really wants to speak about that child to the parents, then what did you people do?
Okay, good idea, good question, very good question. I think one of the best questions that we have in this evening.
Sir, for this, that is why we have framed the parameters and as how they have to prepare their SLCs that we have shown. That is
No,
why.
but Aditi, I
Yes.
think it's an interesting observation. If we are not doing that, I think we should encourage children to also share their challenges. Rekha, I would not want to use the word problematic child as such, but I think we could use such prompts there so that, the children also talk about, because see, when it's going to be a lot of reflection, they also need to understand where they are and where they need to go. And the SLC is all about not just showcasing what they've achieved, but also where they are, where they wish to go, and the paths that they would take to go where they want to go. So that's very important for us, I think, going forward. Rekha, a brilliant question, I thought.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions? I think, Ashwini, we need to remind them again, no? Ki credit milega. Ha, Sonal bete, you've raised your hand. Yes, bete, batao.
Thank you so much, sir. So my question was, what were the challenges the teachers faced during the planning, the way they were planning for the younger ones? So what all they had in their mind, what was the thought process?
Yeah, Rolly, go ahead. I think, yes, we had all these. Go ahead.
Yes, Sonal, for your question, there were a lot of challenges with these young kids, because the first challenge that arises is the lack of vocabulary that they have. They do not have the correct vocabulary, the sentence formation for nursery and prep children I'm talking about. So that was a big challenge for us. And then initially what we had done was we were preparing for the physical SLC in the physical mode. So we had almost prepared and we were supposed to do it. Then suddenly we got to know that everything is turned online. So with the online mode, the first phase that we did, that was not very successful. It became more like a demonstration of learning. And it was not like, because we had so many prompts and and teacher was asking like, okay, you tell me this, you tell me this. So it became more like a demonstration in place of reflection. So in order to improvise it, what we did this time, that we asked the child only to rate himself or herself on the number of stars that he would want to give. And I will tell you one thing that I would like to share here is that even these little nurseryans are very good judges for themselves. There's a child who I saw, and she gave herself 3 stars because she was fumbling a little in reading. She'd given herself 3 stars, whereas there was a mother sitting beside her. She said, no, 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 say 8. Don't say 3. It is 8. So that is probably putting words in the mouth that nahi, aapko 3 nahi mil sakta, and that is where the actual reflection doesn't come up. There is where we get stuck, because basically the mindset of the parents and the society is such that no, you cannot afford to get less stars. So that was a challenge. Probably it will take a little while to make a shift from there to here. And that was the biggest challenge that we faced. But once we did it in the second time, even we are more confident now that yes, we're going on the right track. Though we've not reached to perfection. We haven't reached perfection yet. We're still trying. Thank you.
Well, Sonal, just to add to what Rolly said, the vocabulary challenge, we kind of let them speak in the vernacular in that case. So that, and we kind of overcame and gave them that kind of a confidence. All right, I have a very interesting observation by Tulika in the chat box. She says that now that they know that they have to showing only good stuff, they might be doing well for the next session. This seems to be the thought process, but if we approach it from that angle, then I think the purpose of SLC will be defeated. I think the SLC is very closely related to what we are doing in terms of goal setting and developmental discussions. And that is perhaps an outcome, the SLC. So we don't need to approach with neither we look at it that way, nor should our children look at it that way. Ki SLC is a showcasing of what I've done. That should not happen, because then the purpose will be only showcasing. The reflection and the process will get lost in the product. So Tulika, and for the others also, I think we need to re-look at the way we want to get our children to understand what SLC is all about. Okay, Shweta's observations, especially many parents are very happy and giving positive feedback and feel proud to witness SLC. Of course, that will always happen, when a child is speaking in front of the parent and the teacher. It's a complete turnaround, you see, from the teacher to the student that has happened. So yes, not just the child, I'm sure as a teacher, Shweta, you will also feel very proud that, wow, this child who hardly used to speak perhaps is now being able to do that. So it's a kind of a beautiful process, from the chrysalis to the butterfly emerging there. And we are all part of that miracle that is happening here. It's a great time to be a teacher now.
Sir, I would like to add on here. A few parents were surprised, with their presentation, the students' presentation, that wow, we were not aware of it. Ki bachcha itne din se kar raha hai. So it was a nice experience for the teachers also.
Very true. Diya tale andhera mit jata hai.
Yes.
Great. Yes, Sunanda, go ahead. Sunanda, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm struggling with my, just mute and mute up. Really, this reminded me of one of my students. And, when she's a new child to DPS Varanasi, and father was worried whether she'll be able to adjust in the school setup. This is really a different school, and everybody speaks in English, and whether she'll be able to understand things or not. But slowly and gradually, he visited for physical student-led PTM, and he was really surprised, and he was so happy that, ma'am, she speaks so less at home, and here see the way she is showing things in an organized way. So he was really very happy, sir. So I must say that actually they are coming up. It's not only academics, that feeling happy when they're sharing that I can sing well, ma'am. I have this talent as well, ma'am. So this is really wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sunanda, for that observation. I think even Prateek has made a very interesting observation in the chat box. We're talking about inner stability and, the ability to kind of look within and sort of move ahead. So yes, Prateek, I agree with you. We should encourage this as much as we can, and, get maybe this SLC to be transferred into a student-led classroom also, which I think, we need to do now. This should be our focus for perhaps this new academic year, where let's all move towards, a student-led classroom where the student gets his voice and a choice to. Sometimes students manipulates and gives happy-go-lucky attitude. So being a teacher will have to be more observant to keep a check on their understanding and taking up. Yes, Varsha, I do agree that children sometimes, like all of us adults, manipulate when we have to showcase something. But I think if we can trust the student and sort of, just let that happen. You see, as a teacher, you know that. So in case you know such a situation, don't get back and say, nahi, tum to aise nahi ho, lekin tum aisa dikha rahe ho. That will then defeat the purpose of our work. So keep that knowledge within you. I don't know if you know this anecdote of a teacher in a class who was reported कि ma'am मेरी घड़ी चोरी हो गई है. I don't know, ऐसा कुछ story है. And then what the teacher does? She says, okay, puts everybody in line, आँख बंद करके, she touches everybody and says, all right, किसी के पास नहीं है, किसी के पास नहीं है. And finally, a few years later, she meets this student who had actually चोरी किया था, and she said, ma'am, आपने मेरी जिंदगी बदल दी है, because at that point of time you felt the watch in my pocket, but you never said anything. So I think that's a very idealistic example, fine, but उससे हम लोग को आगे कुछ करने के लिए मिलता है, where if we work as much as possible on the positive psychology of children, I think we will achieve what our desired outcomes are. कभी time लगेगा, कुछ बच्चों में कुछ time लगेगा, ऐसे बच्चे जो होते हैं manipulate करने में, but ultimately they will realize कि ये मेरी अच्छाई के लिए है, so I should not be kind of presenting the facade. Well, in spite of all your efforts, believe me, Varsha, you will have some children like that, but then the world has to have these differences. Bharti, I feel students should get some credit or certificates for performing. I don't know. I think, we are too much now into credits for children, everything. So we need to be a little judicious on what we do. हर चीज के लिए certificate अगर हो जाएगा, तो then, they start working only for the certificate and not for the sake of improvement. So कुछ ना कुछ, they say goodness is its own reward. अरे भाई मैं good हूं इसलिए मुझे reward मिले. Goodness itself is an own reward. So I think we should, I don't know, this is debatable. This is my view. I don't want to impose it again. Let okay, no more questions. Are we extending time? Ashwini, I have no sense of time when I talk. Ashwini, beta, are we extending the timing?
So 10 minutes are left to 5:30.
Oh, wow. Okay. We still have time for questions, huh? Okay. If you don't have questions on SLC, anything else to do, this is a beautiful platform, to exchange views. When we do these sessions across schools, I get to know some teachers want to ask questions, idhar se udhar se idhar. So why not? This is a brilliant platform. So anything that you wish to...
Sir, I would like to add that with this SLC, one brilliant work done by Team Varanasi, the child is not at the receiving end. And this is what we have been observing when they would come to school with the parents for the traditional PTMs that we've had in the school. The child would come with a long face, knowing that, the teacher is going to tell and the parent is going to scold. So this is a wonderful way of making children feel, special, and they talking about their achievements, whatever they have done, reflecting on their own learning is a wonderful way of conducting the PTM.
I think this is a very sharp observation that you made, ma'am. Because, not just the child with a long face, but children who don't perform, उनके parents को भी आने में बहुत शर्म लगती थी. And when you calculate at the end of the PTM की percentage कितने attend किए, कितने नहीं किए, you will be for sure predictable कि जो बच्चे अच्छे नहीं है performance में, उनके parents तो कभी नहीं आते हैं.
Yes,
and then
sir.
हम लोग जबरदस्ती बुलाते हैं undertaking लेने के लिए, तब या report card के time भी हम बोलते हैं हम कितनी बार आपको बुलाया आप नहीं आए. तो then the parent breaks down and sir क्या करें हम आके भी वही तो सुनना है ना हम ये कुछ नहीं. So I think this has turned the entire table around, and even those who used to sort of shy away from coming will definitely be there at the PTM henceforth.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that observation, Madhi. Is Pushpi ma'am in? Would you like to say something, ma'am? Pushpi ma'am? I'm sorry, I forgot to invite the two heads.
No problem, sir. We are here to express our views.
I'm glad you made that observation, ma'am. That was brilliant. All right. Anybody else? Siddharthi, if you're here and wish to make some comment, I'll let you have the last word. Oh, you're on the road. Okay, fair enough. एक मिनट. Anybody? I saw Pankaj sir also. Pankaj sir, आप हैं?
Yes, I am just observing
Wow,
what is
sir,
going on.
आपके कुछ आइडियाज दे दीजिए. बहुत
This is
दिन
a
हो गए
great
आपकी
idea.
आवाज नहीं सुनी, आपको देखा नहीं है सबने.
It's a great idea of having a student-led PTM. This is absolutely new, and I think a lot of work has to be done on this.
Yes, sir.
But I think it is a great idea.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Your motivation means a lot to all of us. All right, Ashwini, if there is nothing much to add, rather than waste those 5 minutes that are left, we just let the team go. Thank you, girls and boys. Bye-bye. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank you,
feedback
everyone.
and suggestions. All of the teacher.
Thank
Nice,
you.
nicely questions. Thank you. Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful presentation, Aditi ma'am and Sushma ma'am, Lily ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vibhuti
Good
ma'am.
evening, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.